Okay, good afternoon. We are working on CO24. I can find a new amount after an increase. So we're going to continue working with those percentages. We're just going to go deeper with the percentages now. How can we use those percentages? Here are some more situations you may be familiar with having to do with percentages. Oh, goodness. It did not move how it was supposed to. Last week you ran 20 miles, and this week you plan to increase that distance by 15%. How many miles will you run this week? Here's another one. You buy an iPod off of eBay for $125 and will resell it with a 30% markup. You want to make a 30% profit on it because you don't want to buy something and sell it for the same amount, because then you don't make anything off it. It was kind of a waste of your time. How much are you going to ask for the iPod? If you want to make a profit, you want to make some money, you need to figure out how much you should ask for. Your bowling score was 180 and your goal is to raise it by 45%. What score did you set as your goal? So as we saw in PO23, there's more than one way we can answer the questions above. So let's look at some of the ways we can answer this. I'm going to scroll it up carefully so it doesn't go crazy on me. All right. So we can see that there's a finding the amount of increase first is one method, and finding the new total directly is another method. So let's look at that running example. You ran 20 miles, and this week you plan to increase that by 15%. So finding the amount of increase first. How much are we going to increase it by? So 15% of what? 20, because that's how far we ran. We want to go 15% of 20 more. So 15% of 20 would be how much? Who can do that math? Andrea? How did you get that, Andrea?
I did 1.5 times 2.
Okay, so that's the same as saying 20 times 15, that 15%. Okay, you divided a 10 out, but that's fine. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 0, 1 times 2 gives me 300. I've got 2 decimal places there, so I've got 2 decimal places here. So that's 3. 3 what? What would my label be? 3 what?
3 miles.
Miles, because you ran 20 miles. So it's 3 more miles. So you want to increase it by 3 miles. The question is how many miles will you run this week? You're not going to run just 3 miles. How many miles are you going to run, Joseph?
You gotta add the 3 to the 20.
Yeah, we have to add our original 20 plus 3 more because we are increasing it. Do not forget to go back to that original question. A lot of times people stop, they say, oh, 15% of 20 is 3. Woohoo, 3. Done, moving on. But you're not done. That's not what the question asked. It didn't ask what the increase is. It asked what is the amount that you're going to run now. So you have to be careful. Then we have finding the new total directly. So instead of going through the steps saying, oh, 3 miles and then 23 miles, now we're going to look at our original times 100% plus, we're going to say P%. So our original amount that we were running is how much? 20. So that's going on the outside. Times 100% plus what is our increase? What is the increase? What percentage did we want to increase it by, Caitlin? 15%. So now we're going to add our percentages together because we do our parentheses first. 100 plus 15 is 115% times 20. So 20 times 115% equals, well, 115% is the same as saying 1.15. Oops. Got a little happy with my ones. 1.15. 20 times 1.15 equals 23. So you could do it either way. Like we've been talking about in math, there are multiple ways to get to the same answer. You're going to find which way connects with you. Does this way make sense? Once we figured out how to use that original, plus 100% plus the increase, okay, you plug in your numbers, you get the same answer. So let's try it with the iPod and see how that goes. You buy that iPod off of eBay for $125 and want to resell it for 30% markup. You want to make 30% profit. So if we're going to do it by finding the amount of increase first, how would I set up that problem, Paul?
30% of 125.
Yeah, 30% of that $125. What does that equal? Do the math real quick. 30% of 125. So 125 times 0.3. 30%, 0.3. Paul?
Oh,
Colin?
37.5.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Right. I just don't.
You gotta trust yourself, Paul. 37.5. If we did 125 times 0.30, that's 30%. 3 times 15, 7, 3. Okay. So then, remember, we can't stop there. That's just the increase. We want to know what we want to sell that iPod at. So how am I going to find that out, Maddie?
I was asking a question.
Okay, how am I going to find out what to sell the iPod at? If it started at 125 and we want an increase of 37.50, what do I have to do, Ethan? Yeah, well, I need to add my two prices together. And because it's money, I'm going to put that 0 on there, so it goes to the hundredths place. And I get $162.50. It's important to know what you would want your increase to be, because is somebody going to buy that iPod if it's a 75% markup?
No.
They're going to say, oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. You're overcharging me. I'm not going to pay that. But if it's only that 30% increase, that's a smaller increase. And somebody might be willing to pay that. So it's important to know your percentages. So you know that you're not going to be overcharging somebody and nobody will buy it. Because that's not what you want. You want somebody to buy. Maddie, what was your question?
My question. Oh, I see what I mean.
Okay. All right, so let's look at finding the new total directly. If we're going to start with our original, what number is that? What's the original? Maddie?
30.
You buy an iPod off of eBay for $125. It's $125. That's the original price of the iPod. We multiply it by 100% plus that P increase. What is our P? What is the new percentage increase that we want? Izzy? 30%. Then remember, You do your parentheses first, so we have 130% times that 125. 130% is the same as 1.3. When we change it, convert it to a decimal. 125 times 1.3 is 162.50. So you get the same answer. You're not looking at things, okay? Calm it down. All right, let's look at our bowling. Your bowling score was 180, and your goal is to raise it by 45%. How should I set that up? Caitlin?
45% of 180.
45% of 180 equals how much? What is that increase?
81.
It is 81. Remember, we are not done there. We're not going to have a score of 81. That's way too low. We want our score to be going up. If we started at 180, we want it to go up. So now we need to say 180 plus 81 equals 261. So that's what score we want to get to. Garrison. Next time, wait till we're done recording, Garrison. All right, so if we're going to do the originals, Colin, what do I start with?
You start with the original, so it's 180.
180 is my original score. What do I multiply that by? Molly, what should I multiply it by?
45 and 100%.
Yeah, that 100% plus 45%. So then remember, we just work it down. Inside the parentheses becomes 145%, which converting it to a decimal is 1.45 times 180. And if you do the math, you get the same score of 261. So if we look on the bottom of this page, using one of the methods above, answer each question. Use a sales tax of 7%. So don't forget to add in sales tax. Okay? It's really easy to say, oh, the calendar's $12, I'm paying with $20, I get $8 back. Oh, life is not so simple. You're stepping it up in the world, and you have to figure in sales tax now. So you have to figure in how much sales tax will be on that $12 calendar, add that to the $12, and then subtract it from what you're paying. So you need to, it's multi-step problems. We're into the world, the big adulting world of sales tax. It's not so fun. Let's take a peek at that second binder page. The same numbers, different names. Okay, so don't be thrown by different names. This is different names than what I have in my manual, different names than what you have. Mr. Schultz loves to give shout outs to friends in classes. So yes, we have names of friends in class in your binder pages, but the numbers are all the same, correct? Correct. So that's the important part, is knowing the numbers. So you've got the nightly report for a waitress at a local restaurant. Calculate each customer's bill after the tip has been added. So some people gave a really good tip. Holy cow, Kylie is just rocking it with her tip. 61% tip, which is awesome. Waitresses want customers that are gonna tip 61%. Figure out what their total bill was when they gave that percentage of tips. Under that, find the new amount and show your work. So you're not just finding the increase, you need to write what the new number is. So go that extra step. Finish up your problem. Make sure you show your work. This is not mental math time. Show your work so we know how you're getting it. So I should not see just answers written on the pages. I should see your work so I know that you're understanding how to do this. With that, we are going to say goodbye to our friends at home. We hope that we see you again in class soon and that you have a good rest of the day.